Hi, welcome to the Chapter 1 Fundamentals of Testing, Topic 1, What is Testing? So, what is testing is a topic that has a couple of objectives in it, and let's start by the basics. Really, what is testing? Testing is a systematic exploration of a component or system with the main aim of finding and reporting defects. There's something called debugging, and if you're familiar with this, it makes it a lot easier for you. But if you're not familiar with it, debugging is a process that developers go through to identify the cause of bugs and defects in code and undertaking corrections. Debugging is different from testing, and it is very important that you guys are able to tell them apart. They do different kinds of activities, but both of them are very important. Testing, however, still ensures that the changes and corrections are checked for their effect on other parts of the component or system. So don't forget that debugging is a process for developers, not for testers, okay? Now, there's two types of testing mainly: static testing and dynamic testing. Static testing is the term that is used for the testing for when the code is not being executed, not being exercised. Static testing involves techniques such as reviews, and reviews come across lots of meetings, for instance. We will be going in depth into reviews, but right now what you need to know mainly is that static testing is about not having code being exercised. Static testing tends to happen towards the beginning of the test lifecycle, so in the early stages. Whereas dynamic testing is the testing that requires a program to being exercised, so that then we can actually have test execution in this context. Other parts of test execution will include test preparation, test planning, but we're going to talk of this in detail in the next chapter or so. But right now, the important bit is again that static testing is the testing for when the code is not being exercised, and dynamic testing is for when code is being exercised. So, testing as a process. Before any testing, we need to set up our objectives for the test that we're going to do, because setting the objective will allow us to know when we are good enough to stop. A test designed to give confidence that a program functions according to its specification will be quite different from the one being designed to find as many defects as possible. So setting clear objectives, it's not just about knowing when to stop, it's also to do with the different way the test will be done, because different objectives have different ways of being done. We define a test process to ensure that we do not miss any critical steps and that we do things in the right order. We need sometimes to prioritize things, because sometimes we just have several things to test and we need to do it in some sort of order. And of course, the order is important. So this is why testing is a process, and the process exists it's in place to make sure that we don't skip any important part. So a quick recap on this first chapter 1. What is debugging? Debugging is the process that developers go through to identify the cause of bugs and defects in code and undertake corrections. What is testing? Testing is a systematic exploration of a component or system with the main aim of finding and reporting defects. What is the difference between static testing and dynamic testing? Static testing is the term used for when code is not being exercised, whereas dynamic testing is for when the program under test is being exercised with some test data. What other elements apart from test execution are included in testing, test preparation, and test planning? And this was it for chapter 1, Fundamentals of Testing. What is testing? Thank you.